Friday, Trump told Fox News that he still thinks Florida's ban on abortion after 6 weeks is too strict. Donald Trump expressly said that, and up until literally like 14 minutes ago, he had said he's going to be voting to make it longer so that there's more time for people to get abortions if they want abortions. However, now, after causing a huge rift amongst the right, he has now said he would still vote no on the measure. He said, I think 6 weeks, you need more time. Then 6 weeks, I've disagreed with that right from the early primaries when I heard about it. I disagreed with it, Trump said. At the same time, the Democrats are radical because the 9 months is just a ridiculous situation where you can do an abortion in the 9th month. So I'll be voting no for that reason. That's not even what that amendment was talking about. Amendment 4, I believe is what it's called for Florida, which would have changed the amount of time, the window of time for women to seek an abortion. It didn't say anything about 9 months. It said it would allow abortions up to 23, 25 weeks, up to the point of when the fetus is viable, and only an abortion afterwards if there is a threat to the mother's life as determined by her medical physician. What's wrong with that? That's very agreeable, right? Like, most people are not just getting a 9-month abortion because it's fun and they changed their mind about wanting to have a baby. No, usually there's some kind of a severe complication at play, and that, of course, results in an emergency abortion being carried out in the late term like that. Okay, yeah, so abortions after 21 weeks are rare, representing just 1% of all abortions and often related to medical concerns like fetal anomalies or threats to the life of the mother, according to the nonprofit health organization KFF. So again, exactly what I just said. Usually late-term abortions are only due to some kind of severe medical situation. It's not because somebody's irresponsible or just randomly deciding to get an abortion because it's fun or something. The Republican presidential nominee has come out against the Florida abortion measure just one day after he was asked by NBC News how he would vote. And what Trump said before was, I think the 6 weeks is too short. It has to be more time. I told them I want more weeks. I am going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. Keep in mind that now Trump has clarified. Now Trump is saying, well, I don't want to piss off all my supporters, so of course I'm voting against that, haha. Before 14 minutes ago, when Trump clarified here, this is all we were left with. This statement here. I think the 6 weeks is too short. It has to be more time. I am going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. So this morning, J.D. Vance, the world's most not awkward humanoid, went on CNN. He was asked about Trump's seemingly shifting approach to this abortion ban thing. Let's see what happens next.
Look, the president, I'm sure, will tell the American people how he's going to vote on it eventually, but he wasn't making an announcement last night.
So it was a grammar thing.
Sorry, could you repeat that, John?
It was a grammar thing. It was a speech thing. It was somehow some confusion in the words that he chose.
Of course, the question, although a little bit sassy, is well put and is also a decent question to ask. If Trump says, I will be voting to make the window of time for women to get abortions longer, that sounds like you're saying you're going to be voting in support of the Florida state amendment to make the window of time for women to get abortions longer. Like, why would you say you're going to do that or vote that way? And now you have J.D. Vance up here claiming that that wasn't an announcement, even though Trump said that's how he was going to be voting. Of course, Trump has walked it back now. But just a little bit of an awkward moment here as J.D. Vance is sort of in silence. Like, yeah, was it just a grammatical thing then? Like, I think maybe what this guy meant to say is semantics. Is it just like a semantics thing? Like, why did Trump say he would be voting to make the time longer when that's what the amendment proposes to do?
Senator Vance, can you hear me?
Super staticky.
Senator Vance, I may be super staticky. You may not be hearing the loud baritone of my voice here.
So that was the first part. J.D. Vance pretty much scrambling to be like, look, he'll make his own announcement. I know that he announced this already on NBC News, but you have to realize that Donald Trump is the kind of guy to pretty much just say whatever he needs to say, depending on the audience he's in front of. So J.D. Vance on CNN then dodges a question about Trump's personal view on abortion by claiming he's more focused on inflation.
Hopefully the audio was all fixed. We were talking about Donald Trump's statement on abortion overnight, where he said he would vote for more than 6 weeks in Florida. When the campaign then put out a statement saying, yeah, but he's not saying he's going to vote for the amendment which would allow for more than 6 weeks. And I was asking you if it was a language thing, if he understood what he was saying, or if this was a shift in position.
Well, again, John, and thanks. I can hear you much better now. I appreciate you guys fixing that. But look, the president is simply saying he doesn't like 6 weeks. He obviously has said he doesn't like late-term abortion. And I think he will make an announcement on what he actually wants to do on the Florida law in particular. But again, President Trump's been extremely consistent that he's going to make this decision as a citizen of Florida, but he wants the national government that he intends to lead to be focused on national issues like inflation, the cost of housing, and the wide open southern border. He wants states to make their own abortion policy, and that will be his position for the remainder of the campaign and the remainder of his presidency.
You say he's been consistent, but of course there was a period in Donald Trump's life where he was not anti-abortion. Then he became anti-abortion, at one point suggesting that women should be punished if they have an abortion. Now he's saying he's for more than 6 weeks, but it's not clear how he's going to vote in an amendment in his own state. So that's why.
So literally the Trump campaign is trying to be like, well, yeah, Trump is in favor of there being more time than 6 weeks, personally, you see, but he's not going to vote that way. Huh?
I think people are seeking clarity. You can understand that.
Well, John, the Dobbs decision, what it fundamentally did is this goes back to Democratic legislatures and the people, of course, who elect those legislatures. I think the president has said in a post-Roe, a post-Dobbs world, he wants voters to make these decisions. I think it's important to remember, of course, that Kamala Harris has come out for taxpayer-funded abortion.
If you want the voters to make the decisions regarding abortion, that's probably not going to be great for Republicans because, as we just saw, the majority of Americans are in favor of abortion. A July poll from the University of North Florida suggested that 69% of likely voters supported the Florida ballot measure and 23% opposed it. So that's just in the state of Florida, but I know that nationally, the majority of Americans are in favor of abortion access, or at the very least, they are in favor of keeping the government out of those decisions.
Sorry, Senator, but he's a voter in this case. The reason it matters, in Florida is he's a voter. Go ahead.
Well, of course it matters what his position is, and I'm sure that he's going to say what his position ultimately is, John. But I do think it's important to say that between Republicans and Democrats have talked about trying to defund Christian hospitals that don't do late-term abortions. Donald Trump is trying to preserve some ability for the states to make these decisions.
What? I'm finding absolutely nothing about Democrats wanting to defund Christian hospitals because they won't give late-term abortions. Sounds like he got his memes mixed up there. And now, on top of that, Trump has again contradicted himself and has further brought the Republicans into another snag with him. So keep in mind that Trump has consistently been in favor of abortion being up to the states. That's what Trump wants. He wants all of this stuff, the pregnancy shit, abortion shit, that should be up to the states. That is what Trump and the Republicans have been pushing constantly. Well, now all of a sudden, Trump is saying that he wants to guarantee IVF treatment everywhere, federally. So how the fuck are you going to do that if you then think that abortion should just be up to the states? They're kind of one and the same issue. They're all related to pregnancy, reproductive issues, things like this. So it's obvious that Trump is really just in favor of it being left up to the states when it looks good for him.